If you're looking for a podcast that packs in sound property advice, as well as offering you an insight into making the world of property effective and ultimately work for you, you're in the right place. Hosted by Arsh, the original property rebel. He's written an Amazon bestseller, created the Property Investor app, the UK's first, and is an experienced property mentor. More importantly, he talks the talk and walks the walk.
Hi and welcome to another episode of the Property Rebel with your host Arsh. And in today's session we're going to be looking at forward planning for 2021. But before we do that, I want to say a quick hello to all new subscribers as well as all existing listeners wherever you are in the world. I want to say thank you for checking in with me, and more importantly, thank you for your continued support. So let's get straight into it. 2021 is upon us. We're a few days away. So my question is, what are you doing between now and New Year to kind of gear yourself up and plan for the new year? Now, I appreciate that in some of the previous episodes I've talked about how 2020 hasn't really been the year of dreams. And the reason why I say that is because lots of us had lots of goals for 2020, and unfortunately we got hit with coronavirus and COVID, and it kind of knocked us back, not only personally but also from a business point of view. So lots of goals and targets were not hit. So my question is, what are you going to do going forward for 2021? Are you going to go with a more cautious approach and thinking, well, we haven't really got over COVID, so therefore I'm going to take it steady as it comes and we'll see how we get on? Or are we going to set massive goals for 2021 and say, well, we kind of know what happened in 2020, so therefore I'm going to plan accordingly? So over the last few episodes of the Property Rebel, I've talked about systemizing what I did in 2020 to set me forward for 2021. I also talked about some of the things that I didn't do this year to make sure that I do hit them moving forward. So we've got everything moving forward. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty well placed now to make sure that I do hit my targets for 2021. When I set my goals, first of all, I like to work with the end goal in mind. So what am I looking to achieve in 2021? The first thing that I'm looking to do is I want to make sure that I'll talk to you from a perspective as to what I've got going on. So I've got a couple of houses that we're currently building. So my aim for those houses is to have those completed by no later than the end of March. So by the end of March, we want to have them built, spec'd and ready to either rent or sell. The reason why I've said rent or sell is because I'm not 100% certain yet whether I want to sell them or whether I'm going to keep them to add on to my portfolio. Because they're in the right location and the catchment, that seems right for me to keep and just add as additional income onto my rental portfolio. So that's first task. Second one that I've got in mind is that I want to make sure that I've got everything in place for my deal sourcing business to continue to keep on growing. So from that point of view, what am I going to do? Because the end goal is that I want to have a certain amount of deals. So prior to COVID, we were hitting circa 500 deals a year, which is equivalent to 10 a week. However, last year, we didn't even do half of that, if I'm going to be completely honest. And, unfortunately, that is the reality, that we won't always hit our targets. But we're going to get back to that in 2021, knowing what we've known from 2020. So what am I going to do? How am I going to make this different? First thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to reach out to all deal sources. So here's your first opportunity to work with me. If you're a deal sourcer, I want you to reach out with me, and I want you to say, Arsh, can we work together? Because as a deal sourcer, I want you to find your deals and I want you to put them onto the app. So as part of my growth process for 2021, I want to make the Property Investor app the marketplace for all property investment deals. My vision for the Property Investor app is to turn it into the Rightmove equivalent for property investment deals. So I can only do that with your help. So if you're a deal sourcer and you're looking for deals, if you're looking for an outlet for your deals where you want to sell them to my database, reach out to me. So you can either approach me and send your deals to deals@propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or if you want to reach out to me directly, you can email my PA at admin@arshilahi.com. And what I would like to do is kind of almost just give you a few hints and tips as to the kind of deals you should be looking at, how you should be appraising them, how you should be packaging them, more importantly, how you can sell them and work on a split fee basis. So that's going to be one of the avenues that I'm looking at. I'm also looking at creating a partnership program for the Property Investor app. So if you're a deal sourcer and you want to become an affiliate, an official affiliate with the Property Investor app, we can do that. And so when you go and start speaking to an agent, when you go and start speaking to a landlord, you can say, guys, okay, I am Joe Blogs. However, I'm not just Joe Blogs. I'm an official partner of the Property Investor app. And as a result of that, that instantly gives you credibility. And as a result of that, vendors and agents will start to take you seriously because naturally they will want to do a bit of research on the app. As a result of doing a bit of research, they're then going to come back and say, okay, I can kind of see the app, I can kind of see the vision with it. Yes, let's do a deal. So it's about building your own credibility. It's about building the credibility of the Property Investor app as well. So if you're a deal sourcer, I'm definitely interested in speaking to you because this is part of my growth plan for this forthcoming year. Moving on from other businesses' point of view, my property portfolio, I don't think I'm going to continue to buy any more properties initially, unless a real good deal sits and falls in my lap and is in the right location. So I'm looking at stuff anywhere within Wolverhampton. So I've stopped buying HMOs. I'm still creating a couple of HMOs, whether they're on a rent-to-rent basis, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. But my vision for 2021 is to build the app as a business. I've got other businesses that I do want to build. So I'm talking to some people about a website that I've got called thefurnituresquad.co.uk. So that's another business that we're looking to grow for 2021. I'm not buying, as I said, I'm not intending on buying any more property within the next year because I've got a lot of things outgoing. So I want to make sure that we spend this year almost like collecting it back in. So the aim for 2021 is to maintain a high occupancy rate within my portfolio. So making sure that as soon as a property becomes vacant, it gets filled quickly. So what we've done this year is that we've spent a lot of time making sure that we've got videos of all of our properties. We're making sure that we've got all correct pictures of all of our properties. So as soon as a tenant gives us notice and gives us their 4 weeks allocated notice, next thing that we do, that property then gets put on Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market, Gumtree, Spare Room, Open Rent, just to name a few of the platforms that we advertise some of our properties. And as a result of that, we'll find that as soon as a tenant moves out, I want to have a tenant moved in. And so I'm priming my agents, or I'm priming the guys that I employ in our letting agencies to say, as soon as one's out, we want another one in. And we can only do that by being proactive. Being proactive means that as soon as we get the notice, we start listing it so that we've got a 4-week window of opportunity to fill that property. And I'd like to think that because we have got all the tools there, we can make that happen. And one thing I would urge you guys to do as well is that as soon as your tenant gives you notice, literally start advertising that property. Get the tenant's consent to allow you to start doing viewings. More importantly, use that tenant in place to, if you've got a good relationship with that tenant, use that tenant as almost like your viewing agent. Say to them, I'll tell you what, yeah, I appreciate that, it's a shame that you're leaving. However, if someone wants to view the property, would you help me by potentially showing them the property? More importantly, if you've got a good positive relationship with that person, why don't you say, would you mind giving us, your landlord, a positive review? So when this person comes round, not only do they say that the property is great, but also our experience living with this landlord has also been great. So these are the things that I'm starting to prime, because let's face it, when a tenant goes to view a property, the house is only one element of moving into a property. They also want to know that they're going to be able to get on with the landlord, also that agent. So if the house is great, plus they found a great landlord, why wouldn't they move in with you? And all these things all influence the decision making from when that tenant wants to come and take your property on. So work with your tenant that's leaving and say, well, I'll tell you what, if you allow me to do the viewings, perhaps I can give you a small bonus when you vacate the property. So you may give them circa anywhere between £20 to £50, because you're saving a load of time from going to do lots of viewings at that property. So you're saving time. You're also getting that person to almost like sell the property for you to the new incoming tenant. And we find that this really works well. And I've done a previous episode on the Property Rebel about how I've got a caretaker in one of my HMOs and how he does all the viewings, how he does all the paperwork, and it enhances the experience of the incoming tenant. So as you can see, these are all tools that I've put in place over the last year to make sure that next year is going to be even greater, and it's saving me a lot of time. Moving forward for 2021, personally, I want to enhance my wife's personal income by taking on some more rent-to-rent properties. Over the last couple of years, she's got involved in property, and we've taken on a holiday let, which is in Cornwall, which she completely manages, and we've got a couple of rent-to-rents around the West Midlands, which is kind of, well, when I say kind of, has enhanced her personal income. So she's got 2 rent-to-rents in Wolverhampton. She's got a service accommodation business down towards Cornwall, and I want to try and get her more involved. So she's quite an avid interior designer. So I want to try and implement that into my business so that we can get her busier. So when I say busier, I don't want her to be busy. I want her to become more creative. So that's my kind of plan for her, and getting her involved in property over a greater scheme, as well as that looking after my kids and making sure that we've got a nice work-life balance. So there we have it, guys. In a nutshell, I appreciate that it's kind of a bit all over the place, but the plan for 2021 is to go all guns blazing. When we say all guns blazing, I've done the hard work. The hard work was in 2020, making sure that we don't fall foul of the things that we come across in 2020, and in 2021 we can keep moving forward. The systems are in place. We know what to expect. I can appreciate that for 2021 we're going to see ourselves go in of lockdown, out of lockdown, in of lockdown, out of lockdown, but as a result we keep working, we keep trading, but more importantly we keep making money. So hopefully you've enjoyed that session. If there's anything that you'd like me to help you with, please feel free to reach out. Please email my team at admin@arshilahi.com. If there's anywhere that I can help, I'm sure I will. As always, if you like more free content, please feel free to watch my videos on YouTube. You can find me under Arshilahi, where I've got hundreds of videos talking about all different kinds of property strategies. We release a new video every Thursday at 4 p.m. If you want to, you can also connect with me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And then finally, if you haven't already done so, I've talked about it a lot in this podcast, download the Property Investor app. It's the UK's first property investment platform, which showcases all kinds of deals, which includes rent-to-rent deals, below market value deals, lease option deals, service accommodation deals, just to name a few. You can go to our website, which is propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or you can download the app if you've got a smartphone. Go to the App Store, type in Property Investor, takes 2 minutes to download, and you've got all the deals in the palm of your hand. Guys, on that note, as always, I would like to wish you a happy new year. Welcome to 2021, and let's start this year the right way, and I wish you every success for it moving forward. As always, I wish you and your families to be safe, well and happy, and I look forward to working with you and speaking to you in the new year. Thank you, and bye-bye.
The large majority of people make a positive change if they take immediate action. So act now. Download the Property Investor app and join Arsh on his social media channels to excel your property journey.